I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
It's Sunday, April 18th, 2021. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 70. We got the Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum recap, and then we jump into some MMA news, and then we talk about the UFC 261, 3 title fights on that card. Are you fucking kidding me, or what? What a preview show we have for you guys. But before all that, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, guys. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you have to choose one to go follow, hit up our Instagram. We are posting there the most. We stay up to date. We're posting clips of the show, funny memes. We're trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up.
Absolutely. And be sure to smash that like button, guys. It helps with the algorithms, the analytics of YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Comment below. You guys know the deal. We love the interaction we're getting in the comment section. You guys are lighting us up, and we love it. And we, rightfully so. We're probably going to get some trolling this week. Which, we'll tease a little bit here. There was a celebrity boxing match, if you want to call it that, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. We will jump into that a little bit later in our MMA news. And man, what a fun time that'll be, Tabor. What a fun time that'll be.
I don't know. Let's just stick with UFC.
Let's start with UFC. Let's start with a fight night.
But, go check out our fight companion, guys. It's an interesting one.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one for sure. Oh, and we gotta say, we got all our gear. It was our first fight companion with the 3-camera setup, the switcher board, monitors, all that stuff. It was really cool. Guys, bear with us. We're still learning everything.
Still learning. Our shots weren't the greatest, and a new camera that we bought. You'll notice there's a black line going down the middle of it. We got to send back that camera. That's a malfunction. Bear with us with the new equipment. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, you and I were in the studio hours before
3
setting
hours
that up.
Or something like that. It took us 3 hours to get it set up, and we're scrambling, trying to make sure we could do the fight companion time.
Yep.
The hardest part was just lining up shots, trying to stay out of each other's shots. It's crazy.
But
it's crazy, but it turned out, I would say, decent.
It turned out decent. I mean, we definitely got to work on the camera angles and stuff, but that will come next week. And we actually have a huge announcement. We did a test live stream, which was unlisted, so none of you guys saw it, but we did it to make sure that we could do it on YouTube. And good news, everyone. Though we are not quite yet at 1,000 subscribers, YouTube apparently allowed us to live stream. So next week, we will be live streaming not only our fight companion, but also our episodes from here on forward, Sundays. So tune into that. Be ready. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
It's going to be awesome.
We don't have to upload the episode. It's just going to be right up there right away.
Yep.
So it's just a huge weight off of our shoulders, really. And it stays up to date. I mean, how many times do we get comments going, guys, that was news a week ago?
Yeah, I know.
Or something like that. It's like, oh, well, for one, fuck you.
Right.
2, we got to upload all this stuff. It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time, but not only that, but those comments are primarily for the clips. But guys, we drop clips from our episodics all week on this channel. You guys know it. Yeah. But another exciting announcement that we'd like to talk about too is we will now be having a producer on the podcast running our multi-cam setup. You guys have probably seen him before. Gideon DeMar is on this podcast. He's going to come into the studio, run the Ada Mini Pro for us and all the camera angles, and just kind of figure out some of the logistics. So that will be on next week. So I'm excited about that.
Super interesting.
A lot of cool things in the works for this podcast, guys.
Yeah, very
Couldn't
excited.
do it all without you guys and your support. So thanks again. Be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel. We're down here. We're just going to keep growing and growing and getting better and better, man. So I'm so excited about the future.
Yep, it's looking very, very bright. Just like I would say Robert Whittaker's future is looking.
Of course.
Let's start at the top like we always do, a recap show. Guys, main event of the evening was Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. And I will start by saying this. If there was ever a card that deserved the fight companion, it's probably was this one, right, and not the Jake Paul Ben Askren card. The disrespect.
Yeah, we'll probably never do that again. So that was great.
It's a learning experience.
Learning experience for all of it. But what a better fucking shit fight companion to like set up all the cameras and stuff to do for that debacle that was last night. But yeah, man, I mean, this is a long time in the works here. I mean, this fight should have happened 2 years ago for the middleweight belt.
Yes.
Between Robert Whittaker and Kelvin Gastelum. We do know, of course, that Robert Whittaker, the day of, had to pull out of this fight because of a sports hernia. We finally got it, and it's kind of everything that I expected. And that's no disrespect to Kelvin Gastelum. I really love this guy. I think his striking is great, but it was just one-dimensional in comparison to Robert Whittaker. I mean, Robert Whittaker was mixing it up, those leg kicks, beautiful combinations where he'd start with a leg kick, throw a 2-3 combination, and then end with a head kick.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and he caught Gastelum in that first round.
He throws that combination, I feel like, every fight. It's that jab to cross to head kick. And he always lands it. It's a combination that is very dangerous, and it's very tricky because he does hide the head kick very well with that right cross. Not a lot of guys do that. You know, it's a very difficult combination to throw, and Robert Whittaker does it with such class and such elegance. He flows so well with his striking, dude. This might be the best Robert Whittaker we've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
I think losing to Israel Adesanya did something. It lit a fire under his butt or something like that. Maybe there was motivations. I mean, I'm not going to say he wasn't motivated in those other fights, but I mean, there's a clear difference between the Robert Whittaker that fought that first fight and the Robert Whittaker we saw last night, correct?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there are levels to this game. This guy, obviously, Robert Whittaker's the number one contender in this division, and you could clearly see that. I mean, he won all 5 rounds pretty decisively. His striking was just on point. When he took Kelvin Gastelum down, he kept that top pressure, and he didn't let him go anywhere. I mean, he suffocated him. And every aspect of this fight, Robert Whittaker was better. I mean, it's a hard case to make, and we must talk about this. Of course, Marvin Vettori was in the crowd to watch this fight. I mean, if you want to call it a crowd, it wasn't really a crowd, but you get what I'm saying. Marvin Vettori was there, and after this dominating win by Robert Whittaker, it's as much as I like Marvin Vettori, and as much as I do also believe that he does deserve a shot at the belt, how do you not give it to the former champ, to the only guy that he's lost to is Israel Adesanya? And since then, he's won 3 straight fights in very impressive fashion.
And everyone has been a number one contender fight, I would say. Maybe besides the Kelvin Gastelum fight, just because it was a short notice.
And that's where you give him a little grace, right?
Yes.
And also short notice, but we also, again, there are levels to this game. And though it was short notice, yes, it was number 8. There wasn't any time in this fight where I'm like, okay, yeah, Kelvin's going to win. Oh, there's going to be an upset here. Robert Whittaker just looked composed. He looked better all around.
Yep.
And I feel really bad saying that with Kelvin Gastelum because I love the guy. I really do. I love watching him fight. He's still relatively young. I think Kelvin's only 28, 29 years old.
Yeah.
He's still got plenty of time to develop. He hasn't even hit.
So is Robert.
Robert's pretty young too. But he hasn't even hit his prime yet. And, you and I were talking about off air. I wish Kelvin Gastelum would get with a nutritionist and drop down to welterweight because I think he would be one of the most dominating welterweights we've ever seen.
I mean, he said it himself. He just loves food too much.
I know, but at some point, when you know you're never going to taste that gold in the division that you are in, it's the same situation reverse. It's the same situation reverse where it's the Darren Till thing. Where Darren Till, there's no way that guy should have been fighting at welterweight. And I think his chin suffered from it. The same way that I think it suffers for Kelvin Gastelum to be fighting these guys. He's short, he's stocky, he's 5'8", 5'9", whatever. He's not a very big guy. I mean, if he fought at welterweight, I think he'd have a clear power advantage.
I agree with that.
And I just think the issue is just these guys are too big at middleweight. I mean, dude, again, I went to it. I went from the well last week, but you look at a guy like Paulo Costa who walks around at 225. Come on, dude. Kelvin Gastelum isn't walking around at 225.
No.
And he shouldn't be.
Actually, he might be.
Well, he might be, but he definitely shouldn't be at his stature and how short he is.
I agree 100% with that. It's just, I think the thing is with Kelvin, I don't want to just say he has to go down to welterweight. I mean, I do agree. If he did lose a few pounds and he went down to welterweight, it'd probably be the best thing for him in his career. But where I'm off the bandwagon a little bit is he at one point was the true number one contender in this division, and he was flatlining former world champs, and he was beating the best of the best. He got Darren Till. Yes. And then Jack Hermanson caught him in the heel hook, but that's just one of those situations. Sometimes you get caught. Darren Till did outclass him, but it's just, and he has got extremely good striking. It's just, I don't know. I think Kelvin Gastelum can be a legitimate contender in this division. I just don't think he's on the level he needs to be a champion. I agree with that. Can he be a champion at 170? Possibly. Does he have the wrestling credentials to deal with the elite wrestlers in the 170-pound division? I don't know. I think actually...
and that's a tough question to answer, too, especially after what Robert Whittaker was able to do.
To take him down fairly easily, I would say.
I would say.
And Robert Whittaker, he's so fucking good, dude. He's just so fucking good, not only on the feet, but his wrestling as well. People don't talk about how good his wrestling is. He was about to make the Olympic team for Australia and shit like that. Like, it's wild how well-rounded this man is. It's just, I think Kelvin Gastelum's getting shitty matchups. You know, if you put Kelvin Gastelum against Marvin Vettori, which I know they'll never fight because I believe they're training partners, so that fight will never happen. But I do believe Kelvin Gastelum will be very competitive in that fight.
Yeah.
It's just, it sucks. It sucks because he's getting shit matchups and he's losing these fights that he needs to win to be in line for the next title shot. So I feel bad for the guy, I guess.
And I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we do with Robert Whittaker, right?
Oh,
do you not agree that he deserves the next shot?
Absolutely. And I was saying it didn't matter who he beat. If he wins this fight, he's getting the top
and again,
shot.
It's 3 straight after having his only loss to the champ.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, and he was a champion, a former champion.
And they're all top contenders.
Right.
You know, just everyone. I mean, if Jared Cannonier won that fight, which he got completely outclassed in. If he won that fight, he was getting the title shot against Israel. Israel's not moving up to 205. He's fighting the Jared Cannonier or even a Darren Till.
Yep.
You know, if Darren Till beat Whittaker, he was getting the title shot. They're still lining this man up for a title shot, and he has only had 1 win in the division.
So you were talking about Kelvin Gastelum and your belief that he can still compete in this middleweight division,
yes,
which I don't necessarily disagree with. However, what is next for Kelvin Gastelum?
That's the hardest question.
Well, when we talk about this, the preview show coming up, we're not going to jump into the fight here, but we have number 9 Uriah Hall coming up against Chris Weidman at number 11. We have Kelvin Gastelum coming off the loss to the number 1 contender in this division, Robert Whittaker. But the problem that I'm seeing here is you're not going to match Kelvin Gastelum up with any top 7 guy. You're not. Jack Hermansson's sitting at 7. Jack Hermansson just beat him in the first round. So it's like, who are we giving Kelvin Gastelum? Shabazian has already got a matchup. So who is it?
I actually like that name you just put out. Is the winner of Chris Weidman, Uriah Hall. I think really it has like to that. Be. You know, if I'm just going to say it right now, Uriah Hall's winning that fight. And when he does, he's probably going to be like, I deserve a top guy. Give me Paulo Costa again or something like that. It's like, no, you deserve a Kelvin Gastelum. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's because, again,
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. Appropriate's a great, the best term to use here. But outside of that, man, I don't see anyone else. I mean, Shabazian's already got a matchup. Kevin Holland maybe coming off that loss to Marvin Vettori. You know what? Actually, I got to be honest with you. I like that fight. I like that matchup for Kevin Holland. I think that stand-up game would be really good. The thing is
him and Kelvin?
Yes. Yeah, okay. I think it'd be fun. I would
would
personally be very excited watching that fight. However, and I think it would be a good rebound fight for both of them, both Kevin Holland as well, because Kelvin Gastelum isn't going to just take him down every round, right?
Yes.
And it would also give Kevin Holland time to develop his ground game if he wanted to take a fight before that 6 to 9 month mark, that he's kind of working on his wrestling and whatnot. It would be kind of a good buffer fight for him. But yeah, man, I mean, outside of that, those are the only 2 guys I see in this division.
And I like it too because we were talking about how is Kevin Holland one of these guys that is too small for the division when he gets taken down by these bigger guys that are cutting ridiculous amounts of weight? Is he getting dominated because he can't get back up because these guys are too heavy? And Kelvin Gastelum is not. I'd say he's a natural middleweight, but he's not a true middleweight. He's not cutting massive amounts of weights to get down to 185. So I actually really like that matchup.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect matchup for both men. If a Kevin Holland decides to stay at 185, I'd still say the man should go down to 170. And if he wants to take a good 6 months off, work on that wrestling, I think do it.
So that's something that's interesting because I do, and I don't want to say it's flip-flopping, but you do have varying opinions based on the fighters. In one breath, you say Kevin Holland should probably drop down to welterweight. Why is it that you don't have that same necessary belief for Kelvin Gastelum when you see that there is extra weight that he carries around?
Well, look at the body.
Kelvin?
Of Kelvin.
Yeah,
I think a weight cut for Kevin Holland's way easier. One, because he's I would say he's way leaner. He's just not carrying around
and I would agree with
He was
that.
not carrying around that extra, no offense, but that's belly fat.
Right.
That's what Kelvin Gastelum, that's what's weighing him down, and he's not willing to put in the work to lose it. I mean, he admits that himself. He likes eating fucking
whatever he wants.
He just likes eating food, and he likes eating his mama's cooking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he wants to fight at 185, if it's easy to make weight for him, I say do it. It's just, but if you're not willing to put in the work to get down to a 170, which I think would be a lot easier for a Kevin Holland than a Kelvin Gastelum.
Okay, so in a perfect world, if you could just choose and take the food thing out of the equation, and you had the determining factor of where Kelvin Gastelum goes, where would you rather see him fight?
That's a good question. Probably 170.
Yeah. Right.
You know, probably 170.
That's kind of where I'm at.
It's it's the body, you know. I mean, one he's got to get rid of that belly fat. Yeah. And that takes a lot of work. Right. You know, a lot of work. Is he willing to do it?
Oh, I know. Don't I know?
Well, we both do. We both do, you know.
I have lost 100 pounds and then put it back on and then lose it again and put it on. So I know. If anyone knows about belly fat, you're talking to the master.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, Robert Whittaker, he's getting the title shot, correct? I mean, we already said that. So, period. I mean, is that a more competitive fight this next time around with Israel?
Yes. And look, dude. People are going to continue to shit on Robert Whittaker for whatever reason. And look, dude, don't get it twisted either. I am a huge Israel Adesanya fan. I have that giant, canvas poster of Israel, in the passing of the torch with Anderson Silva. I love Israel Adesanya. I think he could potentially be one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. But we have to give respect to Robert Whittaker, okay? You got to give a little grace here. Yeah, he had an off fight. He had an off night. He was a champ. He didn't know how to feel about it. And we have that same kind of situation with Rose Namajunas, man. I mean, where she was didn't really know, but she felt like she was more mature after losing the belt again. And I think that's where Robert Whittaker is right now, man. And yes, I absolutely think that fight will be much more competitive, and we're going to see a completely different fight. I really see that fight going 5 rounds, and it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be a 3-2, 4-1.
That's what I want. Guess. That's what I want. You know,
and I think that's what
I want
a
competitive fight. I want to see Israel defending his belt at 185 against the very best, and Robert Whittaker is that, I believe.
Hey, and yeah, absolutely. And Israel has always been active.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't say he hasn't been, man. That guy he works. 3-4 fights a year. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into our church coin bets. I throw 1,000 on Whittaker. I had so much confidence that the guy was going to get it done. I mean, he just looks so fucking good. I don't know if there's anyone in the entire division that beats him right now other than an Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, that got me a nice little return. 370 church coin. I'll take it.
Yeah, he was a heavy favorite at a -270 coming into this fight. I put 540 on Whittaker. I had a lot of confidence, but the thing is, I was trying to save some of my church coin. You guys will see in our preview show why. I put 540 on Whittaker with a +200 return.
Alrighty, let's move into the co-main event of the evening. Andrei Arlovsky and Chase Sherman.
But before we do this, we must talk about the previous co-main.
Yeah.
Drakkar Klose, Jeremy Stephens. What a fucking shock it was, because again, we were kind of focused more on the Jake Paul Ben Askren that we didn't really know in real time when we're on the podcast. We kind of found out the next morning. Fight didn't happen. Well, if you watch the weigh-ins, you see that they get in each other's face, and Jeremy Stephens fucking shoves Drakkar Klose so fucking hard. So hard. I couldn't believe it. And you could tell that Drakkar Klose could not, didn't expect
he wasn't prepared for it.
No. And you see it, if you see the still image of when he initiates contact, you see his neck all fucked up and his eyes all big, like he had no idea that was coming. And a lot of people, he had, long story short, you guys all know he had whiplash.
It was sprained neck and a concussion, they said.
Yeah. And, dude, the trolls on the internet piss me the fuck off, dude.
You gotta admit, those memes were funny.
No,
the
okay.
memes.
I don't have a problem with memes. I don't have a problem with memes.
There was a meme. It was Drakkar Klose right after getting shoved, and it was him in a full body cast.
Yeah. Okay, so that shit is funny. That's the stuff I like. That's good trolling humor. But it's the people who shit post who was Drakkar
he's a fucking
Klose,
pussy.
What a pussy, you can't even get. And I'm like, okay, first off, motherfucker, this guy is a professional fighter.
Right, he's no
a professional fighter. He's no pussy. You couldn't do even 1/100th of what this guy does. Second off, whiplash is a real thing. Like this guy is not going to get shoved and then fake an injury. Why would you do that? Especially against a legend like Jeremy Stephens.
It makes you look like a bitch, right?
Right.
It just makes you look like a bitch. No one's going to go in there and be like, I want to purposely look like a bitch.
Right. I want to purposely pull out of this fight and not make any money. After doing a full training camp.
Exactly. So it's ridiculous to say that he was faking or doing any
so dumb.
shit.
It's so idiotic. I fucking hate people online. I really do. Because like, again, all those reasons. You think he wants to miss out on his purse? He just went through a full training camp. He cut weight, made weight.
I know.
Oh, but all of a sudden, because he got shoved, he's scared. Get the hell out of here. The guy was seriously hurt. Like, and I believe everything he was talking about.
Yeah, he said that in an Instagram post that he couldn't even stand in a room with lights.
Yeah,
he had to go in
lights
complete
off.
darkness. So, I mean, like, that only happens if you have a pretty severe concussion.
Yes.
So, it's wild how it happened because, you know, I mean, we're so used to seeing violence at its highest level. Like people getting punched in the face, head kicked in the next oblivion, blah, blah, blah. So then when you see someone that just gets shoved and they have a somewhat serious injury from it, it is shocking. It is jarring, I would say.
And you know, kind of the rule of thumb is you don't strike your opponent before the fight. But I thought that push, and I got to be honest here, I thought that push was a fucking hard. Like, I thought it was a little excessive for Jeremy Stephens. It's like, bro, I get it. If you want to shove a guy a little bit, that's one thing. But he shoved him fucking hard. He put everything behind that. And I know people are going to make fun of that and be like, oh, what, you can't handle a push? But, dude, I have been in situations where I'm not expecting something to happen, and I fucking throw my back out, and it's the most painful thing ever.
Would you say it's excessive to the point that he deserved to get fined or something like that from it?
Yeah, I thought,
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was excessive enough where it's like he should have forfeited a percentage of his purse or been fined.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. It cost the fight, dude. It literally cost the fight. I mean, in what scenario in any other sports, you know, you see the not Jason Garrett, whoever that guy was on the Browns, hit Mason Rudolph with the helmet across the face. That's excessive. That he literally got ejected from the game. This fight did not happen because of Jeremy Stephens' actions. I get it. They're fighters. That's what they do. But, dude, to some level of extent, why could you not have done that in the octagon? Why didn't you beat his ass in the octagon? Why did you feel the need to push the guy that fucking hard a day before the fight? Why?
I disagree. I mean, it's just a shove. If he punched him in the face, I would say he deserves to get fined. But I mean, I think it's just a freak accident, you know. And it does suck that at the end of the fight, I just don't know if he should be fined.
But why is it necessary? You're a professional.
It's not necessary at all.
Right, but you're a professional. The same way with DC and Jones, okay? When they tackled each other and they were fucking fighting at the press conference, that is bullshit. You are a professional athlete. Act like a professional. Now, it's all water under the bridge, and obviously I'm not going to hate Jeremy Stephens forever. I still love the guy. He's a fucking future Hall of Famer. But nonetheless, like, you are a professional athlete, compose yourself, and just get the job done in the octagon. I mean, it literally cost the co-main event. It cost the promotion money. It cost you as the fighter.
Cost us a banger.
Right.
That was going to be an
incredible
banger.
fight.
That was going to be probably fight of the night.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's what we were saying on the podcast. It was definitely fight of the night, or going to be, had the potential to be. And I just think as a professional athlete, you just got to compose yourself better. You have to. And I thought it was completely excessive, and I do think fines should be administered to people to actions like that, because those type of things are what cause fights not to happen.
Yeah,
it needs to not happen.
I guess just don't get in Jeremy Stephens' face next time, Jakar.
But I see again.
Lesson
I disagree
learned.
With that. A face-off, like what are you supposed to do? Not face off with the guy?
That's the joke. It's a face-off. Like that's what you're supposed to do is get in each other's face. So it is funny in that aspect.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a learning experience, and I'm not like pissed off at Jeremy Stephens. I'm sure Drakkar Close is a lot more pissed off than I am.
He's not happy.
But come on, we got to compose ourselves better here. Be a professional athlete. Make your payday. I mean, you literally put your life out on the line every time you get in the octagon. Just wait till you do it. Just do it then. That's all I'm saying as a fan, because I don't want to see these fights get pulled like that. I just think it's excessive. And if you don't rein in on this problem, it's going to get worse and worse. Like if the UFC, if the organization allows these fighters to continue doing this kind of stuff, it's only going to get worse.
Then why face off?
You got to nip it in the butt.
Why face off?
Because you're a professional athlete. Compose yourself.
Why? Why
so
face off? If there's a chance where people are getting well, this is the problem: is they can't obviously compose themselves enough. You know what I mean? So they can't.
99.9% of fighters don't do what just happened.
Yet this still happened. Yet this still happened. Yet you want to now you're saying we got to nip this in the butt and make rules.
So because of 0.01% of fighters who can't compose themselves, you pull it for everyone. I mean, you can make that's a terrible argument.
That's not the argument I'm making. What I'm saying is it's such a rare occasion that now we're having to make rules for this one rare occasion.
I'm not saying make rules. I'm saying fine them when they do shit like that. It's as simple as that. Just fine them. Just find them. I'm not telling you to pull them.
I don't want to get to the point where now we're gonna have to fucking stand 6 feet away from each other.
No, I don't want that either.
I think that's absolutely the extreme.
No. I'm not talking about those rules. I'm saying find the fighters who do things excessively like that, so that shit doesn't happen. You are a professional athlete. Compose yourself. A face-off is meant to be, obviously get a read on your opponent. It's not to incite. I don't want to say incite violence, but to promote violence in that sense. It's literally for photos.
Well, it literally is to promote violence.
Okay,
it's promoting the fight.
Okay, but it's not promoting violence in that second, in that moment.
Yeah, you're right.
It's for the next day, for the fight.
Yeah,
so
but it is promoting the fight.
Of course it's promoting the fight, but you don't need to do that.
And I wonder if that's what Jeremy Stephens, is that what he was thinking? I'm going to shove him and fucking this fight's going to be even more hyped, or is he just actually get pissed and shove the motherfucker?
I think it's a little of both.
Yeah.
And again, he's a fighter. I don't hate him for it. It is what it is. But at the same time, it's come on. You got to set some boundaries. Otherwise, this shit is just going to get out of hand, and we're going to have a lot more fights getting pulled.
I don't know, dude. It's such a rare thing. I don't know. I mean, it is crazy, and whiplash is real. You're right, but I don't know. I mean, if every time someone gets shoved that this happens, then I would agree with you. But I think this is just a freak accident, man.
Right, and I understand that, but I don't want to see guys shoving each other before a fight. I don't.
I mean, dude, that's promoting the fight, though. Conor McGregor, you can never get so close when you're doing a face-off that you throw a head kick. He threw a head kick at Habib. Remember that?
Should have been fined for it.
Okay, and I agree.
Should have been fined for it.
I agree with that if it landed, but I mean, it's just...
Right, but I'm just saying,
they're just promoting the fight, and he fucked up, and it did cost us this fight. It was just such a freak accident. I don't think say this happens 100 times, I'd say this is probably a one-time occasion.
Right, and this is so rare. I agree with you on that point. It's very rare. I just don't want to continue to see it to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to continue to escalate because if Jeremy Stephens has no repercussions and other fighters in the organization see that, then fuck it. I'll shove my opponent. I don't give a fuck. I'll fucking smack him in the face. I just don't think it's an appropriate thing to do a day before a fight. When the promotion has so much money behind it, when the camps have put so much into it, and then because of your selfish act, you ruin a fight.
Well, I'm not going to lie. That selfish act made me 10 times more hyped for the fight. So in the promoting aspect, I would say it hypes people up. But I agree. I would think it sucks that it ended the way it did.
Right.
And it's a really unfortunate. We've stayed on this way too long. Let's go to Andre Arlovski and Chase Sherman.
Yes.
Andre, he looked pretty fucking good, dude. And fresh. I mean, the output they were doing, these guys were trading for 3 straight rounds, almost nonstop, and putting on a pace that heavyweights don't. And Andre looked very good. I mean, we were kind of giving him shit last week about how maybe this is a guy that either should be cut or should retire. I mean, look at his record, 31-20. It's a lot of fucking fights.
It is insane that Andre is still winning fights, man.
And
he's still winning fights. He looked good. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
And he got caught by Chase, too.
Several times. I mean, dude, there was that first round when Chase had him pushed up against the fence, had him hurt, and was blasting and firing, and Andre was just the wherewithal and the vet move to get outside and to get some distance and to recover as well as he did. I mean, it was super impressive.
Yeah, hey, that beard's got some cushion for that chin, man. I'm telling you, because he was taking some shots. He was able to weather through the storm. I thought Andre Arlovski looked really good, man. I mean, he's 42, 43 years old now in the UFC in the heavyweight division, but somehow this guy still just gets W's. So, I mean, it is what it is. He goes back and forth. He'll obviously never be a contender in this heavyweight division, but if the guy wants to fight up and comers and is still getting W's, then I guess, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. Let's go into our church coin bets. I put 250 on Sherman. I really didn't think Andre was going to look that good. I mean, Chase Sherman is an up-and-coming young guy, so I wasn't giving him the absolute respect he does deserve. I mean, he's such a vet. He knows these crafty ways to win.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. So next time I will learn. I wonder if they're going to keep Andre around much longer. Like, would you really want to keep a guy that you're probably paying a pretty big purse to, I would say, for being a former champ and all that. And now he's going to take out future contenders? It is interesting. He even said himself that he thought he was going to get cut after that Tom Aspinall loss, and he was actually surprised he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, hey, he just got the one over Chase Sherman. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you do as a UFC. It's kind of hard to cut a guy on a win.
Yeah.
So I think you give him one more guy, and then if he loses at his age and what he has done in the sport, I think inevitably you just go, okay, it's time to hang up the gloves. There's a lot more forced retirements these days in the UFC, which I'm actually not opposed to, especially if he does get viciously finished in his next fight. But again, look great. He'll probably get another fight, and I shit the bed on this one as well. I put 200 church coin on Chase Sherman as well, and lost that. So
yeah, and now we know.
Yep. If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Jacob Malkoun.
Wow.
Another guy.
Yikes.
Another guy. Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I mean, it's proven to where you get this man out of the first round, it's over.
Yep.
It's over. And he looked
unfortunately
thick at middleweight. Oh my goodness. I didn't even know this was a middleweight fight until the night. Dude, he looked big. He was big. Not the tallest guy ever, but thick. And he's struggling. He's struggling. I really like Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I think he was an extremely talented prospect at the time. And then he got viciously KO'd twice in a row.
Twice, yeah.
And now he got 30-27 by middleweight that, no offense to Jacob Malkoun, I just don't know him. So he's an unknown guy.
Well, yeah, I think this was his second fight in the UFC.
Yeah, and
so pretty new guy.
And the second you get Abdul Razak Al Hassan up against the fence and you tire him out, he's just such a big guy. He doesn't have that 3-round cardio. So I would not be shocked if the UFC goes, hey, man, you maybe got one more chance, and if you can't do it, you're gone.
Yeah, well, I mean this is 3 straight for Abdul Razak Hassan.
And normally you'd see that would be it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. In a lot of cases, he did have a good 2018, did not fight in 2019, but 2020 and 2021, I mean, we're looking at 3 straight losses, against Chaos Williams too, one of them being got knocked out in the first round.
Vicious KO.
And then he lost to Mounir Lazaz. He lost that fight by decision, but this fight, man, was all Jacob Malkoun. He looked great, took him down early, made no disrespect, but made kind of easy work of him.
Yeah.
He looked really good, very impressive.
And, like I said earlier, you get him out of the first round, he kind of just fades. Yeah. He fades. He doesn't really quite have the gas tank to go 3 rounds, which is, if you can't go 3 rounds in the UFC, that's not good. No. That's not good. You cannot rely on these first-round knockouts. This is not the heavyweight division, my guy. It's eventually these first-round knockouts aren't going to cut it.
Yeah.
So it sucks for him. I do like Al Hassan. I did go with him. I put 350 church coin on him. It's just unfortunate, it's not good for the guy. Yeah,
I put 300 on Al-Hassan, and I also lost that bet.
All right, let's move on to Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, and Alexander Munoz. Another close fight. This was a split decision on the cards. And Luis Pena showed it. I really do think. He's just so well-rounded. He's a freaking good guy. I didn't agree with the judge that gave it to Alexander Munoz. I did not agree with that. I did think Luis scraped out 2 rounds. It was a very close fight, though. But Luis Pena, do we give this guy a big fight? How many wins in a row is it now? I think
he's 2.
He kind of was struggling there for a little bit.
Yeah, he did lose in 2020. He got submitted by Kama Worthy.
That's right.
And that was actually his last fight leading up to this.
So 1 fight win streak. So he's still going to have to fight unranked guys, unfortunately for him. But the lightweight division is so absolutely freaking stacked.
And not only that, but he's only 27. He's
he's young. And he's growing up in the UFC. He's been in the UFC several years now, so he's becoming a veteran. Yep. So, it's only a matter of time till we start talking about Luis Pena fighting a ranked guy. And
if he can string together another win or two, absolutely.
A couple wins, yeah, absolutely. And I'm very impressed. I think he's got the full package. And I'm just very excited for this guy's career.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I totally agree. I got the Pop Funko just for him. I talk about it every time. But hey, Luis Pena, you ever want to come on the show? Hit us up.
Hit us up. We'll have you on any day of the week.
On.
Just to talk his story. Remember the story he talked about how he his biological parents and he found them and ended up finding his real family and they all clicked and loved each other.
Yeah, it's a crazy cool story. It's a great story.
I really enjoyed it.
It's a story that you could write a screenplay for.
Absolutely.
Seriously. Especially if he goes on to win the championship one day. Mm-hmm. What a story, man. What a story. Super,
super impressed by Luis Pena. So I think we both went with him, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I put 300 church coin, gave me a nice little return of 194. So I will take those.
Yep. I bet 200 church coin on Pena and won 129.
Sweet. You know what that means? It's MMA news time, Mason. All right.
Here it is.
I mean, we teased it.
Yes, we did. I need another drink.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this at all.
No, neither am I. You guys, we deserve every troll in the book. Please comment below. Let us know. We're kind of fucking retarded. I mean, that Alex Jones meme is perfect for this scenario because we were all on board for Ben Askren. We were talking shit about Jake Paul. And we have so much to talk about in this fight. The repercussions of this, what is going to happen now with not only Ben Askren, but Jake Paul, and how incredibly fucking wrong we were. Incredibly wrong, how embarrassing it is. And we got to do this. We're public figures now, so we got to just face the music, and we got to take our L's like these fighters do. So, Tabor, how are you taking that L? But unlike last time, we're in it together, pal.
I guess I'm way better than last time. Let's be real. I did not have a Stipe Miocic reaction to this, No. And it's just, I was shocked. I'm not going to lie. I really did think that Ben's chin was going to hold up. I did not see Jake Paul going out there and flatlining him, which I would say he didn't. Ben did get back up. He was wobbly. And I, at the time, when I saw the ref waved it off, I was like, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
What in the fuck?
There are questions. There are conspiracy theories. There are rumors. Now, you watch the tape, guys. You go back and watch that Robbie Lawler fight. And Robbie Lawler, like, if the casuals don't know who Robbie Lawler is, the dude was a savage, especially in his prime, okay? You go back and watch that Ben Askren, Robbie Lawler fight. Robbie Lawler threw so many fucking punches at Ben and Ben's chin was phenomenal.
Blasted him multiple times.
And Ben
dumped him on his
that.
head.
Now, you could take this one of two ways. You could say, hey, Mace, you're a salty little bitch, and that's why you're bringing this up, which could be the case. Or two, Ben Askren's chin was never the same after that Jorge Masvidal knee, right? You could also say that. It is a possibility. But I find it very hard to believe that this amateur kid, this amateur boxer who's now a pro, who has still never fought a boxer, could go out there and throw a 1-2 and KO Ben. And, man, I'm not saying that this fight was thrown. Okay, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, if it was, I would hate to believe that Ben Askren's the type of guy to do something like that.
But he is. Who better than Ben Askren to literally troll everyone, all the MMA community? Because, dude, it's got to, look, Ben Askren has always played it off that it doesn't affect him, but he's got to have a little fucking resentment for the MMA community. He's got to. People troll him all the time. Okay, all the fucking time. The biggest fuck you that you could have to the MMA community is to take this fight, to hype it up, to be, I'm the face of MMA, yada, yada, even though he didn't personally say that. But he understands the severity of the situation here. He knows he's the MMA guy going into this fight. And he goes, oh, you want to pay me another $500,000? Why is it, too? I find it very funny. I thought Ben Askren was only supposed to get paid $500,000 for this fight. Come to find out, he made a cool mill on this fight, which good for him. Kudos for him. He'll be set for life. He doesn't have to work again because Ben Askren is smart. He invests in cryptocurrencies.
Well, that tells me he got a pay-per-view cut, essentially. And I wonder, obviously, yes. I want to know.
And I agree with that.
What did Jake Paul get paid after pay-per-views? That's what I want to know.
A few mil. But I just find it very odd. The way that Ben Askren got up and then he was like, yeah, I'm good. And then he kind of fake, stumbles into the ref. And then literally right after the fight, Ben Askren is smiling, joking around with his wife. She's like, good job, hun. And they're all smiling, happy because they just made $1 million. I don't know, dude. Something didn't feel right about it. I'm not saying that it was thrown, okay? Because I don't want to go there. I'll never know if it was. But it was so odd that 1-2 was and yes, the punch was landed. It was a good 1-2 by Jake. I'll give him that. It looked nice. But I don't know, man. There's something that just doesn't sit right with me, and I can't figure out what that is. I'm not going to go as far as saying it was thrown, but I don't know. Something's a little fishy about it. It just, the whole promotion, the whole thing of it, and then in the first round. And how many strikes did Ben throw? And did you notice anytime that Jake threw a combination, Ben would like almost, and I went back and watched it again, Ben would almost like purposely drop his left hand. And I'm like, are we like setting something up here? Like, come on, dude. If you're trying to tell me that you're training for months and months with like Freddie Roach and stuff, and then you're going to purposely drop your left hand every time you see Jake throw a right hand.
He only spent a week with Freddie Roach.
Okay, whatever. But okay, so do you think he only spent a week training?
No.
Do you think he spent months training?
Yes, but only 1 week with Freddie Roach.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, he's training for months and months. That's the point I'm trying to make. Mm-hmm. And he drops his hand every time Jake throws a combination. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, come on. Like, he's a pro. He's been fighting for 20 years, and you're going to drop your hands every time you see a guy throw and not throw back. It would be one thing if Ben was throwing shots back, right? But he was just like intentionally dropping his hands, I felt like, in certain scenarios where like he wasn't even covering up. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It just didn't sit right with me, but it is what it is. All the promotion in the world. Ben made $1 million. Good for fucking him. A great troll to the MMA community. Thanks, Ben. And now we got to hear Jake Paul be like, I feel like I'm the greatest man in the world, the greatest boxer I could take on anyone.
He is allowed to pretend to be a fighter for another year.
I know he is. It's just, it's hard. It's like...
I feel like a fucking clown, dude. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like a fucking clown.
We should have showed up in fucking full-on clown face makeup.
Because
we should have.
I mean, we put our faith in the man that had zero striking skills. And I will give Ben this credit. Logan threw a big right hand, and Ben ducked under it and landed a perfect counter right. It was weird. I will say, I don't know. I don't think it was rigged. I don't think he threw it. I just think there was way too much hype in a fight that should not have been hyped.
No.
You know what I mean?
In hindsight.
I think the hype is what fucking blinded everybody. We almost should have known that this was going to happen.
And what a couple of fucking schmucks we are. We spent $50 on that shit pay-per-view. And let's jump.
Talk about the pay-per-view
obviously the pay-per-view itself. Yes. We had more fucking concerts from people I've never heard of outside of Justin Bieber.
Justin
Don't know
Bieber,
who that is. All I know is Justin.
Too Short, fucking Snoop Dogg.
Okay, Snoop.
There was like 19 concerts, dude. And like, we wanted to start the fight companion at 7 or something like that. And we're just sitting there watching like 9 concerts in a fucking row. When is the fucking concerts going to end?
It's like, am I paying for fights or am I paying for concerts?
I was pissed off with that, let alone like Ben Askren getting KO'd. Like, I was pissed because that sucked because I had all my faith into Ben, which I'm an idiot for that. You know, whatever. But you know what? It's like, why? Maybe is that how far boxing has fallen? That we need to do that?
The short answer of it, yeah. Do you see this being the church of boxing? No one gives a fuck about boxing. Hardly anyone does.
And so they have to do that?
Yeah.
I'm just shocked.
I know.
I'm just shocked. They had at least, out of the hours of content, how many hours of fights? Maybe 2?
Maybe, yeah.
If that, not even 2, maybe an hour and a half.
Maybe an hour and a half.
To like 3.5 hours of concerts and Pete Davidson and a slap contest and Ric Flair going, woo! It was weird. It was weird. It was strange. It was jarring. It made me not want to watch.
Yeah. Yep.
It really did. The entire time we were watching this, we're like, fuck this. Put on the UFC fights.
We will never do another boxing fight companion probably ever again.
I'm cool with that.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. With that.
I can't do the whole fucking musical promotion shit. And it's like, each concert was what? It felt like 20 minutes.
Way too long.
And like, they weren't doing one concert and then one fight. The ratio was
it was like 4 or 5 concerts. It's like 4 concerts in a row, and then they finally went on to the next fight. Literally, there was an hour and a half of slap contest, fucking concerts, Ric Flair, and then, now it's the second fight of the night. It's like, dude, we've been in 3 hours deep into this pay-per-view already.
Well,
what the fuck?
And then we're getting amateur 6-round fights.
Yes.
8-round fight. And then like,
there was a fight with like a billionaire. This dude's like, I'll put up a Bitcoin or some shit and I'll get in a fucking octagon or a fucking fighting ring. Yeah. Triller. If this is what your pay-per-views are going to be like, I'm never going to buy one ever again. Ever again. I'll do DAZN. I'll do fucking the ESPN or Showtime Boxing or whatever the fuck, whoever the fuck does that shit. I'll do Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. If there's a fucking single concert in that Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury card, I'm going to be pissed. Off. Yeah, I'm not going to watch.
I'm never paying for another boxing event, period. It's just, you're right. How far has boxing fallen where it's literally just like more concerts than it is the actual fucking sport? If Dana White ever did anything like this for the UFC, I would never tune in again. I would cancel the podcast. I'd say to fucking hell with it. We can just open the church of fucking musical concerts.
Yeah, you know what summed it up perfectly? Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson was a commentator, by the way. How many fucking commentators did they have? They had like 19 people up there, and fucking 12? Mario Lopez is there. They just got every single celebrity in Hollywood that wanted just a little bit of YouTube clout was there sucking Jake Paul's fucking dick, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's sad, dude. It's sad.
Well, I mean, anything for those likes, anything for people to like you. So, hey, we like Jake Paul.
So Pete Davidson, you know, the guy's funny. I don't really like the guy that much.
See, I'm in the differing opinion. I thought The King of Staten, New York, or whatever that film was awesome.
Well, that's a film. I'm just saying
right. But I think his comedy is hilarious too.
I think he's funny.
I think he's funny.
Personally, I don't like the guy very much, but I will say this: when he was reporting backstage in the fucking thing, I have to play this because it's so good. It is so good. This guy perfectly sums up the entire fucking event. Let's play this right now.
You could tell how professional this event is by them having me here. We are backstage at Jake Paul's dressing room, or locker room, if you want to call it that. And, today's a really wild day for boxing because it just shows, how low it's truly sunk. I think today proves the fact that if you have enough followers, you can truly fucking do whatever you want. I mean, maybe PewDiePie will cure cancer and Charlie D'Amelio will become a surgeon. Who knows? Tonight we have a bout between Ben Askren, who I don't know who that is still, and I've been reading up on him all week, and Jake Paul. And, they both suck, but, at least somebody's going to get hurt. Now, back to you guys in the booth. Some real announcers over there. You could tell how professional.
He totally made fun of it because that's what it deserves. Yeah. That's what it deserves. It was not a real event. It was like faux, just entertainment. It was peak Hollywood in its shittiest form.
Yeah.
That's what that event was. Mm-hmm. It was heart-wrenching. It was heart-wrenching in my opinion because I don't want to watch that shit.
No.
And I felt bad. I don't even want Ben Askren's name attached to it. I don't want the MMA community attached to that garbage.
Well, and let's not kid ourselves. We watched more of the UFC fight night than we did of that boxing event.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
We weren't going to sit there and watch 30 minutes of fucking
Doja
concerts.
Cat?
Yeah, which I still don't know who this is. As
just some thought.
Pete says he was reading up on Ben. I'm reading up on Doja Cat. I thought it was a cryptocurrency. I thought it was just Dogecoin, but apparently it's an artist too. So
that's fun.
Hey, that's fun.
Yeah, it was dude. If UFC
it was a shit show.
Like this is Dana. I know you're listening. Dana, don't ever let anything like that ever happen to the UFC.
Please don't, dude.
Like, I don't see that happening.
Dana's a gangster. He doesn't give a fuck. He's not going to do this Hollywood bullshit. I think he's anti-establishment, anti-fucking woke really Hollywood bullshit. He ain't going to do that. That's why we love Dana. That's why we love the UFC, man. But yeah, the whole spectacle was just an absolute shit show.
It was terrible.
And I'm not going to tune into something like that again. And I sure as shit am never paying $50 to watch a disgrace to the sport that was once so great.
Yeah.
Your Muhammad Ali's, your Mike Tyson's, and now we got Jake Paul versus Ben Askren.
Mm-hmm. So even in the Tyson Jones fight, glorified sparring match, even in that thing, they had concerts. And I was saying this is fucking stupid, but then this took it to an entire new level.
Yes.
It was just crazy.
This one was way over the top. Yeah. At least they had like one concert and one fight. The ratio was still respectable. Yeah. This one was like, let's throw 2 35-minute concerts in and then do a 15-minute promo with the guy who goes, woo!
Yeah, Ric Flair. Woo! And a slap contest.
And then...
it's like everything that trends on Twitter, they're like, we're doing that. We're doing that.
Mm.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
it was the internet.
wasn't fun.
It was the internet on tape. I felt like
It wasn't fun.
it was not fun at all.
No.
Let's. I mean, it's just.
But the one positive thing about that is we were able to set up our camera and do all that shit, and kind of work out some of the kinks at least. So hey, we got something to be happy about.
Yeah, and we were the ones trying to get the clout. Like, let's be real. We got some clout from it.
Yeah,
so I mean, fucking sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Yeah,
gotta
I guess
do what
the
you
internet
gotta
people
do.
like it. So
This is number one bullshit.
Yes, it was, Habib.
You're right, Habib. You never sold out, but unfortunately,
we did.
Less than 1,000. We fucking sold out like a bunch of ass clowns that we are.
Yeah.
Never again.
Let's get into some real
Yeah.
MMA news.
Let's do it.
All right, so Bellator card happened on Friday. Nemkov defeated Davis.
Yep.
So the champ retained his belt in light heavyweight division in this light heavyweight tournament. And of course, the one fight we all knew was going to happen. Corey Anderson defeated blah, 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 and then fucking moved on to the next round. So now we're getting Corey Anderson versus Ryan Bader next in the next round of this light heavyweight tournament.
And mark my words right now, I've watched Corey Anderson. Corey Anderson will make easy work of Ryan Bader. That's an unpopular opinion. I think Corey Anderson is the true dark horse in this Bellator Grand Prix, and I think could very well make the finals.
Yeah.
I think so. I think he could be fighting for the belt.
I agree he's the dark horse. I'm actually very interested in this Ryan Bader matchup. I think it's going to be a little more competitive.
The matchup. Yeah, I like the matchup.
I think it'll be a competitive fight. I don't think Corey Anderson just goes in and smokes him, but I wouldn't be surprised either way.
I think it doesn't get out of the second round.
Interesting.
Yep.
Do you think Corey takes him down and just dominates him on the ground?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep, I do.
Interesting, because Ryan Bader is a grappler first before he is a striker.
Absolutely.
So that's a very interesting. I agree. I kind of agree with that take. I mean, if you have to give someone a ground advantage, it's probably Corey Anderson. I mean, he's got the UFC experience, and he's so well rounded. So
he's
he can
younger.
strike as well. He's a younger guy. Is that chin compromised from those few knockouts?
Could be. But I mean, I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, I guess really for sure. So Nemkov is going to fight the winner of this Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Yoel Romero fight.
God, I can't wait for that one.
I can't wait for that fight.
When is that?
I don't know.
I think that's in like 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Something like that.
But man, I cannot wait for that matchup. That's going to be one I'm definitely tuning into. But Bellator does their fights on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, and then one does them on Wednesday.
May 7th. May 7th. It is the co-main event. Anthony Joshua.
That's the hold on. Yeah, I know.
Anthony Joshin. I can't talk.
Oh boy.
I can't talk.
Oh, boy,
Ben
got boxing on the
Askren,
brand.
Jake Paul fucked my brain up.
Yeah.
Those goddamn.
be the
I
same.
lowered
Could never
my
be the
IQ points
same.
got lowered at least a few hundred by their. Yeah, crazy. Anthony Johnson versus Yoel Romero is the co-main event of Bellator 258. Archuleta versus Sergio Pettis.
Is the main?
That's the main event.
Is that a title fight?
Maybe.
It's got to be a title fight.
Juan Archuleta,
Sergio,
Sergio Pettis. Is Juan Archuleta the 135-pound champ?
he might be in Bellator because Sergio Pettis has won all of his fights in Bellator. So.
Good, and good for him for getting a title shot, if that's
good
true.
for him, yeah,
so that's going to be a very interesting, and Michael Venom Page is on that card as well, fighting
That's a great card.
another guy I've never heard of, which is
Wow,
perfect
May
matchup
7th.
for Michael Venom Page. It's all he ever fights is dudes I've never heard of.
Yeah.
So, perfect for him. Perfect for him. I'm very excited, dude. I mean, Anthony Johnson versus Rope.
He did fight Paul Daly, though. Remember that fight? And then it was a wrestling match the whole time.
And it wasn't an
Like,
entertaining
what the
fight, and
fuck?
people were saying that Venom Page didn't even win.
Yeah.
So that was a controversial fight. And then he got flatlined by Lima.
Right. Well, that'll happen.
Yeah,
You're talking about Diego, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Diego, and well, Douglas.
Or Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas Lima, and he's got to just got a fight announced. Also, he's going to fight the number one contender in Bellator, an undefeated Russian.
Jeez.
So good for him.
Yeah, good for him, I guess.
Good
you
for
never
him.
want to
Good-
hear undefeated in Russian in the same sentence.
Absolutely,
It's never
the worst
good
case
news
scenario
for you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
in
good.
most cases.
But I'm very excited for the Yoel Romero fight. I mean, gun to my head, who am I taking that fight? Fuck, I don't know, dude. It's such a good matchup. I think.
And we haven't seen Anthony Rumble Johnson since 2018.
In a very long time. And
2017.
he's fighting a guy that I've never seen anyone be able to put away.
Right.
Yoel Romero, the specimen, the test tube baby himself from
Wild.
Cuba.
And you know they're giving that man everything. Bellator does not have USADA sniffing up your butt.
They're like, we know you do. We know Cuba's got you on
Of
shit.
course.
Just fucking let him go 100%.
TRT, Yoel.
Just do everything. Everything under the sun. And I can't wait for that matchup.
Anthony Rumble Johnson, he is a pound of weed. The guy loves his weed, bro.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
stoner?
has a business in marijuana. So
Good for him. I'm very excited for his
Absolutely
comeback.
good
Very,
for him.
very excited for his comeback. Can't wait for that fight. That will be a must watch. Probably not a fight companion worthy fight, but definitely going to watch it.
See, I disagree. We can't because I work swing shifts, so we can't do that. But fuck,
Well, it's a Friday.
we could, I would.
Really?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Interesting. Just for that fight alone, honestly. Like,
I
let's
think
be
the
real.
card's good enough to have like a 3-4 fight. You know, I mean, Michael Venom Page and then Sergio Pettis. I like all those fights.
I'm just not interested in Michael Venom Page right now, dude. Like, let's fight a real fucking guy, not some tomato can. Like, I'm sorry. Like, his entire career has been fighting cans. Like, it's a puffed up, fucking padded record, in my opinion. It's like, and then he fought Douglas Lima and got flatlined. So, if he fought actual competition, which is another guy, like, maybe he should be in the UFC. I would love to see how he does in the 170-pound division in the UFC, Michael Venom Page. I think it'd be very interesting. Anyways, I think it's time. Let's move on to some other news. Eddie Alvarez was on Ariel Helwani's podcast.
Yes, he was.
And he gave an interview, pretty much echoed everything we were saying, how he felt raw, blah, blah, blah. And he just,
and rightfully so.
Yeah, and he just has such a sour taste in his mouth from that matchup. He's essentially flying to Singapore. He might even be there already.
Did I never actually watched the award ceremony. Did he end up winning the Oscar?
Who?
Eddie Alvarez's opponent?
Oh.
Did he win an Oscar for the performance?
Aljamain Sterling actually won it.
Oh, he won the Oscar. Oh.
Yeah, throwing shade. Yeah. But no, he should have. Apparently, well, the thing is the guy got wheeled out in a stretcher.
Bro.
If Aljamain Sterling went out in a stretcher, I'd be fucking pissed. One, because of the situation that's going on right now.
That guy got taken out on a stretcher. I know. It's just so frustrating. It's just like, come on.
Well, I mean, if he was seriously injured, he's seriously injured.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it just sucks for Eddie Alvarez because he was winning the fight, and it should have been a victory. It should not have been a DQ. He got completely fucked over.
That's where the stretcher comes into play, where it's like, if you're a fighter and you know you won by DQ, it would be the same thing as if Aljamain Sterling went out on a stretcher. Mm-hmm. It would be. Mm-hmm. Except this one wasn't even in the back of the head. Like, you didn't need a stretcher, which only tells me more that his opponent actually probably really believed in his heart of hearts that he lost and that he didn't get hit in the back of the head. Because, I mean, come on. The guy's totally fine. He's totally fine. Like, we know that. He was medically cleared almost immediately after leaving. It's so frustrating because Eddie does not deserve that shit. But some good news for Eddie. You know, we were listening to that Ariel Helwani podcast.
He's flying to Singapore as soon as possible.
Yep, going to fight within the month.
I'm very excited for that.
It is an undisclosed opponent, so we don't know who he will be fighting. But he says, "Hey, I'm fighting within a month."
So it could be if it's not this weekend. I think there's a card this weekend. Let me look that up. But if it's not this weekend, it's got to be next, right? Or next Thursday or something like that. I mean, they're fighting on TNT.
It would probably be in 2 or 3 weeks from now, my guess, because he said he was going to take a week or two with his kids, his wife, his family, kind of still in training mode because he doesn't want to go back to dad mode, back to like normal life. So
if it's this month, it's got to be next week. 1 on TNT4, Nsang versus Big Dash.
Okay.
I've never heard of either of those guys.
No, neither have I.
But it will be in Singapore.
I know.
That makes sense.
Now that one championship is on TNT, I think I'm going to start recording.
We got to start watching those.
Yeah.
Because, well, they're good fights. And, and the thing that I like about one is they'll have MMA fights and then kickboxing fights, Muay Thai fights, all the same card. It's interesting.
It's cool.
It's very
I like
cool.
it. Yeah.
And I like kickboxing.
So I love kickboxing.
It's shocking that it's not more popular, and I don't watch it as much as I should because, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I love stand-up. I love to see guys going and banging. I mean, there is no ground game with kickboxing. And Muay Thai is vicious as fuck.
I know, dude. And if we could ever make a living doing this podcast, literally, we would do a show every single day on every organization. At least I just love mixed martial arts. I would do a 1 card. I would do a Bellator card, a UFC card. I mean, if I could get paid in my life to literally just sit down and watch 8 hours of fights every single day for the rest of my life, I would be the happiest man on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like the happiest man. And I am going to start recording those 1 championships. I'm going to start watching them. I need to get my feet wet in the organization because I don't really know the fighters. I'm not going to lie, outside of like DJ and Eddie, I don't really know anyone else. But, you know, again, with time, I think we can actually get educated in that organization. I think it'd be fun, man, just to talk about it.
Will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's round off MMA news.
Yes.
Tough 29 is apparently premiering in June, and we do have the weight classes for the competitors. It will be middleweights and bantamweights.
Yeah.
So interesting. I actually like it when they do that. You know, they do one smaller weight class and then, you know, a heavyweight or something like that.
And they just have the middleweights and bantamweights fight each other. It's great.
That's the best
this.
part.
This is the great content that we need and deserve.
Yep.
So
and I heard it's females and
fun.
males. So we got male middleweights fighting female bantamweights.
No, it's female middleweights. Male bantamweights.
Just fucking Gertha from Walmart down the streets fucking fighting some chick.
Those chicks are yoked at 185. Amanda.
Look out.
Amanda, look out.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you. So the unfortunate thing for this tough 29 is
You're not a big fan of the coaches.
I'm just, there's going to be no shit talk.
No
shit talk. And if there is shit talk, it's manufactured. They're going to be like, hey, Volk, you need to say that Brian Ortega's hair is silly or something silly, like that. Brian Ortega's like, what the fuck?
Brian Ortega's like brings
attacks him instantly. Fucking attacks him. It was on. It's fighting words if you talk about his hair, so.
Right. But, you know, I in all fairness, Brian Ortega might bring something interesting into this tough season, because if you remember the whole Korean Zombie debacle with the Jay Park guy got in his face, there was some drama there. So, I mean, if we see that kind of Brian Ortega, it might be really good for his career, too. Mm-hmm. Because if he kind of gets on the map on this public reality show setting, the fans kind of get more of, like, who he is as a person. Because Brian Ortega, to me, I mean, because I watch week in, week out, I know Brian Ortega, but I think for the casual fan, for people who might not know as much, he's kind of a mystery.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you really hear or see of Brian Ortega the same way that you would like Max Holloway or someone where you know who Max is? Everyone knows who Max is.
True, and he was just away from the sport for fucking 2 years before he took that Korean Zombie fight or something like that. So, I mean, this could get this fight a lot of hype. This is a fight that doesn't have a whole lot of hype behind it right now, I think. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't on that Francis Ngannou-Stipe card, I wouldn't have been excited for it.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's a good fight. It's a good matchup, but I think Volk is just better on the feet, and I think that's where this fight's going to be, is on the feet. I haven't seen Brian Ortega's wrestling yet.
But it's very interesting if it goes to the ground, because Brian Ortega's jiu-jitsu is fucking insane.
Goes to the ground, it's over. I'll say that right now. For Volkanovski.
Oh, okay.
I think he gets submitted if it goes down to the ground. You are
underestimating Brian Ortega on the ground.
If it goes down to the ground, Volkanovski gets submitted. I will say that right now. You heard it here first. It's just if it stays on the feet, Volkanovski 5-0.
Even Brian Ortega 2.0?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think Max Holloway pieces up Brian Ortega 2.0. Still.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a more interesting matchup just because the way he did completely outclass Korean Zombie, but I do think there's levels of this. And the way that Max Holloway was almost shut down by Volkanovski in the first fight completely. The second fight, yes, you could say Max Holloway won that fight, but it was like way more competitive. It was a very good, close fight. I just don't see a Brian Ortega hanging with Volkanovski on the feet. And I do think Volkanovski's defensive wrestling is good enough that Brian Ortega is not going down to the ground with him.
Wow.
And I think Brian Ortega's confidence might be so high from that Korean Zombie fight that he's going to want to stand and bang. And I think that's the worst thing he could possibly do. So we'll see. Hopefully he's shooting some double legs right now on his coach, because I think that's what he needs to do. Like, I got 100% legit. That's what I think is going to happen. This fight's probably not going to happen for, 6 months? 6 months from now?
No.
Something like that. I mean, they do have to run through this whole season.
Yeah, it'll be the whole season. So my guess, probably October, November.
Yeah.
That's when we'll get this fight.
That makes sense.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. You know what, Mason? It's time.
It is.
Preview show. The most hyped fight of the year!
Fuck! You scared the shit. You scared the fucking shit out of me, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? God damn! I ducked under the deck. I didn't know if there was
in the microphone, just from nothing to. I just can't wait.
Yeah, dude. Jesus.
I can't wait. I'm pulling a Tony Ferguson.
Have another fucking line of Coke, dog.
Sugar-free,
the Pure Zero,
Rock Stars got me
free advertising.
fucking
Get the
jacked.
Fuck out of here. We're
It's
big
got me
time now.
fucking jacked. I can't wait, dude. Fight of the year is on this card. Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman. Woo! I can't wait.
I feel these days that is the only button we hit. I actually forget what the other buttons are. Honestly, we just hit that one so much.
No, I'm just joking. Obviously, I don't give a shit about that fight, and I don't give a shit about this main event. But it is where we always start. So that is where we will start. Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal, the rematch we've all been waiting for,
and the
rematch
odds
we all wanted.
The odds are about right here. Kamaru Usman sitting at a favorite minus 400. Jorge Masvidal coming in at a plus 320.
That's disrespectful to Kamaru. It should be minus 1,000.
It should be like minus 600, 700, bro. For real.
It should
For real.
be.
Because like I don't see where Jorge Masvidal wins this fight.
Yeah.
Which is so hilarious to say. I think Kamaru Usman is the champ. I don't think he gets dethroned anytime soon. I mean, this guy's so fucking good, man. He's so focused. He does what champions do. Like, I really believe he is the Michael Jordan of UFC, where it's like he will take something that makes no sense and use it as motivation to be like, oh, that guy's talking shit. Oh, that guy doesn't believe in me. They don't believe in me. Like, he's got Michael Jordan's mentality, bro, and I respect Kamaru so much. And like, yeah, when he tries not to be himself, it's a little cringe, but I go like this and I wipe it all away and I look at Kamaru Usman as the fighter, and it's like, he is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC just because the mentality, like, this guy is special. He is so special. He will be a dominant champ for a very long time, in my personal opinion.
Is this fight more entertaining than the last one?
No.
I think it's worse.
I think Kamaru just outclasses Jorge everywhere and takes him down.
I think he's going to 50-40 to him.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse than the last one.
I think it's,
It's just foot stomped, push up against the fence, waste time. Jorge's not going to explode. He's probably going to get tired. I don't know. Let's say Jorge Masvidal comes out and it fights a way better fight than he did the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, now he doesn't have to cut 20 pounds in 3 or 4 days or whatever he said, or 6 days, whatever. Apparently, he barely has to cut weight at all, which is what he normally does. Even though he is a little bit thicker for this camp, I guess. It's interesting. I don't believe it, dude. I mean, I do think this was a matchup that was made for the money. It was a matchup that was made for the hype. Jorge did not want to fight Colby because he knew he was going to get taken down and smashed.
Right.
But he would way rather fight Kamaru because he knows he's going to get taken down and smashed, but he knows he's going to make a few $1 million.
Of course.
Is Jorge Masvidal cut in on the pay-per-view? I think he is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he is. Yeah, he's a BMF guy. Which, when are you going to defend that belt?
Never.
And I know it was a one-off, but it's like, how many times can you claim that you were the baddest motherfucker and lose in a row?
I think he retires after this fight.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think this might be it.
I think...
Unless they do like a Nate Diaz or Conor McGregor fight, like that's the only fights he takes. And I don't think he fights anymore.
Okay, but I hear you out. I hear you out. But I do believe Jorge Masvidal in like... Look, it's really hard for me, and Jorge doesn't give a shit what I have to say. But like, I do genuinely love Jorge Masvidal.
I really like the guy.
Fighter.
Yeah,
I think he's very entertaining.
And he's funny.
He's hilarious. Yeah. He's street Jesus, bro. And like, I do believe that there is a sense of him that does believe he can go out there and beat Usman. Do I think that's possible?
I'm saying it right now. If Kamaru Usman comes out and decides to strike with Jorge Masvidal, I think it's a way more interesting matchup. Yes. I just don't think that's what happens.
No.
Kamaru's too smart. He's too big and he's too strong.
Yep.
He's just going to push Jorge against the fence. He's going to foot stomp him to death like he did in the last fight.
Yep.
And it's going to be extremely non-entertaining.
Yeah.
It's going to suck. It's going to be a shitty main event, in my opinion. It's going to be a main event that no one cares about, and we're easily going to forget. And it's going to be like, okay, we moved on. Now Kamaru's going to have to fight a real contender.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Exactly. And I hate saying that because I do like Jorge Masvidal a lot. He's a very witty guy. He's funny. I really like the guy, but I mean, Kamaru's not going to stand and trade with him.
Nope.
If Kamaru does, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. I mean, yeah, he stood and traded with Gilbert Burns, and we all thought Gilbert Burns was going to outstrike him. But I think it's different with Jorge. I think his hands are too fast. He's too quick. He's too clean with the combinations. Kamaru is going to out-wrestle him from start to finish. That's the way this fight's going down.
Yeah, absolutely. But to go back to Jorge Masvidal, I really do believe what Jorge Masvidal says. I think he is a man of his word. And I do believe that he says him and Nate Diaz at some point will run it back. It's not the Conor situation where Conor talks out of his ass. He promises all these things and he doesn't deliver on a fucking single thing. Jorge Masvidal, when he says something, there's something about him that I do believe. So if he loses to Kamaru Usman, I think he does give Nate Diaz that rematch if the fight makes sense, if they'll make it. And then he'll ride off into the sunset off that win and defending his BMF belt that he lost twice to, but hey, whatever.
I think those are the only fights he takes.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
He fights Kamaru, and if he doesn't get a Nate Diaz or a Conor McGregor fight, he retires.
Yep.
I think it's over for Jorge.
I agree. I
really do.
But if he wins the belt, holy
my
shit.
goodness.
And look, I don't want to say
that he has zero
Jorge
chance?
Masvidal has zero chance because I think the probability is less than 10%, but a fight is a fight is a fight.
Yeah.
Jorge Masvidal goes out there, throws a flying knee, which he's not going to land against Usman. Or if he throws a crazy overhand Superman punch and KOs Usman, it would be insane.
I thought there was zero chance of Jorge beating Ben Askren when that fight happened.
Right.
Zero chance. And then he shocked the world.
Yep.
So am I saying I'm going to be completely baffled and shocked if he does it again?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. I just don't think it happens.
And that's where I sit. If Jorge Masvidal went out there and won this fight hypothetically, it would be probably the craziest thing for the sport.
It'd be the biggest upset ever.
It'd be one of the biggest upsets ever outside of the Matt Serra GSP fight.
Yeah.
But outside of that, dude, I mean, you're literally looking at that level of like upset for the belt. And not only that, but what the fuck happens to this division? What happens to this welterweight division?
Conor McGregor gets a title shot. Or Nate Diaz gets a title shot, and he's like, nah, I ain't fighting Marty again. I just put him to sleep, man. I fucking baptized that guy, man. And
that'll be the excuse.
He's going to fight Nate Diaz if he wins the belt. He's going to fight Conor McGregor if he wins the belt. And Dana White's going to be like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
How about this? In a perfect world, let's do this. Because this is why we do this podcast. We love it. We're fans. We like to theorize and have a good time with this, okay? Jorge Masvidal goes up there and absolutely upsets the world, right? Becomes a new welterweight champion of the world this Saturday night. And then we got to fight. We got to fight just a few weeks after. Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards. What if Nate Diaz goes out there and beats number 3 Leon Edwards?
It's set up.
It's set up. It's in the stars. You do the BMF belt, the second fight, and the welterweight championship fight of the world. I got to be honest with you, and I know you may disagree with this, but I think that could do 2 million buys.
Probably.
I do. I really do believe
so
that.
Especially
I think Jorge Masvidal is a big enough draw. I think Nate Diaz is a big enough draw, and I think the combination of both the BMF belt and the welterweight belt, that's the biggest fight in UFC.
Yeah, that's fantasy land though. Like, let's be real. We're
know,
living in fantasy land.
We are.
Like that's some complete. That's wet dreams, I guess.
Well, I guess for like fans, yeah,
For fans.
And just for like the hype and the shit talk that would be surrounding that fight.
I think it's more likely they both lose. Leon Edwards
And then they
completely
fight.
dominates, and then they fight again. So
and
no
then
matter
Leon
what,
Edwards gets the next shot.
absolutely. So no matter what, things are probably going to play out in their favor.
And honestly, and I don't want to have any disrespect towards Jorge or Nate, because like if they both win, then they deserve the shots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he would deserve the belt, and then Nate, if he won, he would deserve the next shot. But as a purist, I know that Leon Edwards is going to go out there, probably beat Nate Diaz, and then obviously Kamaru Usman's going to go out there and win. So I really want to see that fight. I want to see that rematch because it's been a long time in the making between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
And again, then it sets up Colby Covington to fight a top 5 guy too as well. He gets that win.
Colby should probably fight the winner of Gilbert Burns and Wonderboy, which I do believe is on that same card as Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz. Yeah. So I would be totally okay with that.
That fight would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the winner of that fight take on Colby Covington for the number 1 contender.
In this, I feel like this fight right now is just kind of stalling the welterweight division. But after this fight, we're getting it over with this weekend. So once we're
getting it back to normal.
Yeah, once we're past, the welterweight division will finally move on, which is good. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Absolutely.
And Marty deserves a big payday. Like, let's be real.
He does.
He's the champ, and he defended against the true number 1 contender in Gilbert Burns and completely outclassed him and made him look like the Gilbert Burns that we have never seen.
Yeah,
like he just completely dominated. Like we weren't expecting that at all. So good for him. He's getting a big payday. He's going to make his money, and then we're going to move on afterwards after this week. So I'm going to get into my church coin bet. I'm going all in on Marty, dude. Like, let's be real. Kamaru Usman is going to win this fight. I'm putting every single church coin I have left after I talk about these remaining church coin bets, because obviously I have to bet on every fight.
Right.
So we will add that up. I'll just say it now. It's about 1802.
Yep.
I'm going by 1800 church coin on the guy, and that's after you subtract from my total of 3302 with the rest of the fights.
Yep.
So it's interesting, and I think I'm going to make it a decent return. He is only a minus 400 though, so I mean.
Right. So that'll be less than 1,500. That'll be less than 400 church coin. On
Yeah,
that
it'll be
return.
worth it though.
Yeah,
because I know it's going to happen. It's an easy 400 church coin.
And initially, I was going to go with Jorge just because he was a plus 320, and I got some church coin, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I know Usman's going to win the fight. It's pretty self-explanatory for me. I have going into this week, I have 14,715 church coin. I am laying 4,000 church coin down on Usman at a minus 400. So when Usman wins this fight, I'll get 1,000 return.
All right, that's worth it. It's worth it. Let's move on to the best fight on the card. No joking this time. There's no fight. There's no fart noise coming. This is the absolute best fight on the card. Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas is the co-main event. They did not go with Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade, the higher weight class, which they usually do. But they know. They know. They know this is going to be a fucking great fight.
Did you see that mediocre fight, though, between Lele Zhang and Joanna?
Yeah, that was bullshit. That was such a shitty fight.
God,
Everyone knows that.
I mean, have a little respect for the sport and actually go out there and fight, ladies. Jesus.
Literally the best fight of the year.
Maybe the best fight in UFC history.
It's one of them.
I mean, it's definitely top 3 in my opinion.
It's, in my opinion, top 3 of all time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
of
what
all
I'm saying.
time. Yeah. So I mean, it's a fantastic fight, and they're showing it left and right on YouTube. They're getting this fight hyped. This is my main event. You could have made this the main event, and I would be perfectly happy.
It should have been the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over Kamaru and Jorge. You can put them as co-main, and that'd be cool.
Nah, dude. You even throw Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade ahead of that one.
Let's
no
be real.
disrespect to Kamaru Usman.
You're right. You're right.
Come on.
You're absolutely right. But again, this is the fight, guys. If you're going to asterisk any fight, it needs to be Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas. This is a very tightly contested fight, in my opinion. You have Rose Namajunas, who beat Joanna twice, and then you have Zhang Weili, who just went into a fight of the year with Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
And let's keep in mind, Rose Namajunas' last win was over Jessica Andrade, who is fighting for the flyweight belt.
For the flyweight belt, absolutely. This is a fucking great fight, dude. I cannot wait. Zhang Weili's coming in at a minus 185 to a plus 165 Rose Namajunas. I think Zhang has a lot of hype coming into this. I think it should be closer. Like, this is such a tightly contested fight. I think this goes 5 rounds. I think it's a banger. I think Zhang has so much power. I would not be shocked if she finished Rose. I would not be shocked. But Rose, I would say Rose has the best footwork, the best striking in the entire division. I think Rose Namajunas has every skill to make Zhang Weili miss. She is essentially Joanna Jędrzejczyk 2.0, I would say. In my opinion, with Rose. Her striking is so beautiful. Her footwork is so beautiful. She always finds herself in the right place. She did have a few mishaps in that last Jessica Andrade fight, though. Remember the 3rd round, she got blasted with several uppercuts, got her nose broken, and showed the wherewithal and the vet. She just survived. Like, let's be real. She kind of survived that 3rd round, and she needed to, because if that was a 5-round fight, it could have been very different. Right. Correct?
Yes.
Correct. Zhang Weili has only been 5 rounds one time in her entire career. That was against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and she showed that she has the 5-round cardio without a doubt.
Yeah, unquestionably.
To put on the pace she put on, it was crazy. And the power held, I would say. This is just a very interesting matchup, and I'm torn, dude. Like, I really am torn. Like, part of me wants to put 1,000 church coin on Zhang Weili. Another part of me wants to put 1,000 on Rose. I don't know, dude. I don't know who wins this fight, to be honest. I think it's so tightly contested. I wouldn't be shocked if this was a split decision. I wouldn't be shocked if this was a draw. I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm actually going to go with my heart, which has not been very good for me.
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't.
Yeah.
But Rose is my girl. She's without a doubt my favorite female fighter. She is so fucking good and just could not be a better, nicer human being. So is Zhang. Man, I don't know, dude. I feel like I'm going to switch my pick right now. I don't know. This is the craziest fight. Like, all the times I go into a fight just going, I don't know what's going to happen. This is one of them.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. This is my analysis from this fight. Weili Zhang has shown me the champion that she deservedly is. After that Joanna fight, in the 5 grueling rounds they went against each other, she has shown me toughness, durability, and heart that I need to see in a champion. Rose Namajunas has also had phenomenal fights against Joanna. But, as you had brought up, Jessica Andrade, in that 3rd round, had that fight been a 5-round fight, that fight could have been a hell of a lot different. I just just like Weili Zhang here way too much in this fight. I really have to. I'm going all in on Zhang. I am putting 4,000 church coin down on Weili Zhang, and I am very confident about that bet. I love Rose Namajunas, and if she goes out there and wins, and even though I would lose 4,000 church coin, I'd be so incredibly happy and proud of her if she goes out there and wins this belt. But I just think Weili Zhang is the all-around more technical fighter, and I just think she will get the job done. And
I disagree with that. I don't think Zhang Weili's more technical. The way she won that Joanna fight is
what makes you go back and forth?
It's the power with Zhang. I don't think she's more technical than Rose. I believe Rose is the most technical striker in the entire division. It's just Zhang has the power to finish anybody at any moment. Joanna was tough enough to take it. I mean, let's be real. Joanna was kind of almost outstriking Zhang, but Zhang was landing the bigger, more powerful punches. She was doing the more damage.
So it sounds like you like Rose in this fight.
I do. So I'm going to pick Rose. I'm just going to say this right now. I'm going to stick with my original bet that I put down here. I'm going to go with Rose 500 church coin. I would like to put more, but I'm just so all in on Usman, I can't. And I really would like to put more. But with Rose, it's just... How is Zhang going to approach this fight? I think that's my biggest talking point. If Zhang approaches this fight the exact same way she did with Joanna, I think she gets pieced up.
I'll tell you how Weili Zhang gets the job done. And mark my words, you'll see this in the first 2 rounds. Weili Zhang learned a lot against Joanna. I think she attacks the calves early. I think the leg kicks, they are going to add up so fast against Rose. She's going to debilitate those legs, man, and then she's going to get the job done in the 4th round.
If that happens, then you're right. You're right. But if she comes out the way she did against Joanna, and that's eating 3 punches to land one big one, she's going to get pieced up if that happens. Yeah. So I think she needs to approach this fight differently. If she comes in the same way she did against Joanna, she's going to lose. That's my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen. Is Zhang going to come out like that, or is she going to be the more technical fighter she needs to be to win this fight, in my opinion? She needs to put on the best performance of her entire life to beat a Rose Namajunas. Because, I mean, Rose completely outclassed Joanna in the first fight. She got their first round finish, obviously. The second fight was way more competitive, but she was still winning almost every exchange. And it was so back and forth in the Joanna and Zhang fight. It's just, this fight comes down to how is Zhang coming into it, because if she just tries to fucking eat punches to land the power, she's going to lose. I just don't see her outstriking Rose in that point. But I think, if Zhang comes out and lands some takedowns, yep. She's so strong. She's so powerful. She's extremely jacked. Like, she's the most jacked fighter in the entire. She's probably the strongest fighter
especially
in the entire
for
division.
A strawweight. Yeah.
So, I mean, if she comes in, uses her judo, and takes Rose down a few times, dominates her on the ground, it's a different story. I just don't know how this fight's going to go down. I'm just super interested, dude, and I just can't wait because I'm just very, very hyped for the fight. Yeah.
Also, doing a fight companion this weekend, too, guys. Be sure to tune into that. It's going to be a great time. But, yeah, man, I really think the game plan coming in for Weili Zhang is attack the legs early, maybe get a couple takedowns. I do agree with that analysis. And I really do believe Weili Zhang will finish Rose Namajunas in the 4th round. 4th round TKO.
Interesting. I guess I'm going to have to go Rose unanimous decision. I think it goes 5 rounds. I think this is a classic. I think this could be fight of the year.
Wow.
I think this is Joanna.
And I don't disagree with that.
I think this is Joanna Zhang all over again, but a little more technical on the side of Rose. Nice. Because I do believe Rose is the most technical striker.
I'm fucking hoping for it. That'd be great to see another just classic.
Classic.
I mean, back to back for Weili Zhang, too, to have two incredible fights that could be top best fight of the year or best fights in UFC history. I mean, wow. You're getting me excited for it. I hope so. I'm pray to God that's excited for
this fight. This is my main event. Like, I could literally just skip every fucking fight on this card and just watch that, and I'll be happy. But I'm not going to.
Yeah, I was going to say
there are some other good fights.
Yeah, dude, this fight right here, Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade. I am also very excited for this, and this could also headline on a pay-per-view. I don't care what anyone says. This is a banger right here, dude. For the flyweight championship of the world, we've seen Valentina just be as dominant as can possibly be for a champion. But Jessica Andrade is that true test, man. She is so durable. She is so good. Her striking is phenomenal. This is actually a real test for Valentina, man. And I think the odds are kind of pretty high considering how good Jessica Andrade is. I mean, we're looking at a minus 400 for the champ and a plus 320 for Jessica Andrade.
I disagree. I think Valentina Shevchenko first round KO.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how Zhang finished her. Okay. First round KO.
Okay.
I think Valentina Shevchenko is just too good, dude. I don't think anyone has ever competed with Valentina Shevchenko outside of Amanda and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That's it.
Yeah.
No one's been able to compete with her. I'm going Valentina early finish. I think it really depends on how is Jessica Andrade going to approach this fight. Is she going to just come in yeeting those wild punches, going for the KO, which she does. She eats punches, and she fucking lands on them. Like, she's probably going to be the most powerful fighter Valentina's ever faced, other than Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Like, but you're never going to convince me that Andrade is going to be able to outstrike Shevchenko. I don't think it happens. I think Jessica Andrade gets completely outclassed in this fight, unfortunately. And I'm going Valentina Shevchenko, probably vicious KO early.
Wow. So it's very fascinating with these women championship fights that we actually have the different opinion on both these fights. I think this fight could, and not to say that the Weili Zhang Rose Namajunas can't be a classic. I totally agree with that. But I think this is going to be a very closely contested fight. I see this fight going 5 rounds, and I think the winner wins 3-2. I think this goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It may be a potential 4-1 here, but I think Jessica Andrade has a chance here, dude.
I think she does. She definitely has a puncher's chance,
yes.
I would say. But I mean, I don't think it happens. I think Valentina's way too skilled.
I know, she goes in with the right game plan, and she doesn't throw with reckless abandonment, and actually tries to land technical strikes, maybe throw in a couple takedowns. I think Jessica Andrade could do something here, but I do agree with the assessment that Valentina Shevchenko is one of the most dominant champions that we've seen, especially the most dominant flyweight champion, as it has not been around that long.
There's only been one champion.
Yeah, which is her. Right, exactly. So I am definitely going with Valentina Shevchenko here. I'm also laying another 4,000 church coin down. So 3 title fights, 3 4,000 church coins. I'm laying all my church coins out on the line for this UFC 261. Are you fucking kidding me or what?
That's a safe bet, dude. Valentina Shevchenko, like, mark my words, she's going to win this fight. She's just too good. I think the only person that's going to compete with Valentina Shevchenko is Amanda Nunes.
How about this?
I think that they make that third fight eventually because Valentina is just going to fucking go through everyone.
We could do that. And I don't disagree with that. But how about this one? Zhang Weili goes out there, beats Rose Namajunas. What if she were to bump up and go and we have this super fight, Valentina Shevchenko, Weili Zhang. I think Weili Zhang might be a little too small for Valentina since Valentina fought at bantamweight.
I think Valentina completely outclasses Weili Zhang.
Really? You don't even think it's competitive?
I don't think it's competitive. The way Shevchenko completely outclassed Joanna. Wow. Completely outclassed Joanna. And then Joanna almost won that Zhang fight. I don't see it happening. I think Valentina is just that good.
Okay.
I don't see anyone competing with her other than Amanda Nunes. Like, let's be real. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, it's completely outclassed.
I just think Amanda's a little too big for her. I mean, don't get me wrong.
And that's the problem.
If they want to sign that fight, yeah, I'm all in. Of course,
I think Amanda's the only woman in the entire world that could beat Valentina Shevchenko, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. Like, you name another girl, I'm going to be like, yeah, she's probably losing.
Right.
Like, it's just the way it is, unfortunately. I just haven't seen enough from these people to compete with Shevchenko. I mean, let's be real. Valentina's last fight, who did she fight? Jennifer Maia? And Jennifer Maia did win a round, correct?
Yeah.
So you never know, I guess.
You never know.
I guess. All right, fuck it. I'm all in on Jessica Andrade. No, I'm just joking. Valentina's winning that fight.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, let's move on.
The people's main event.
My main event. Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman.
For the number 1 contender in this middleweight division.
The winner of this fight's getting the title shot.
Man, I cannot wait for this.
I can't wait. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a 3-round, tightly contested fight.
Yeah. Yep. And both these guys are on the trajectory to get that
They're on
next
the up
shot.
and up.
They are.
Yeah.
They are, absolutely. Let's just pick our fight here. I don't want to troll these guys too much. I mean, in all seriousness.
Well, what do you see happening? Like, how does this fight go down? Does Uriah Hall pull the trigger, or does he kind of just try to outpoint Chris Weidman? Does it stay on the feet? Does Chris Weidman go for the takedowns?
Yep, I'll tell you what happens. Uriah Hall, one of 2 things is going to happen. If he does not pull the trigger early, Chris Weidman takes him down and dominates him on the ground for 3 rounds. That's my assessment. If Uriah Hall goes out there with fists of fury and actually trusts in his ability, the ability that he's always had, and for whatever reason just is gun shy, I don't get it. But if he goes out there and actually performs the way that we know Uriah Hall can, he will KO Chris Weidman in the first round. But if he's calm, if he's timid, if he's unsure of himself, Chris Weidman's going to get in there. He's going to grapple him. He's going to take him down, and he's going to pummel him for 3 rounds. So that's the way I see this fight shaking out. I don't have too much faith in either one of these guys. So I am laying the bare minimum bet, 100 church coin, on the former middleweight champion of the world, Chris Weidman. I think Chris gets it done. I think he takes him down. He utilizes his grappling, and I think he gets the job done via decision.
I'm going to go with Uriah Hall. I'm going to put minimum bet 100 church coin on Uriah Hall. I think his striking skills are just going to be too much for Chris. I don't think he comes out guns a-blazing and gets the finish, which he should. Like, let's be real. If he came out and used his skill set, like you said, and believed in himself, he could get a first-round KO.
He definitely could.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think he's going to try and be timid. He's going to try and patty cake with Chris Weidman, and he's just going to barely snub out a unanimous decision, in my opinion.
Fun.
It just sucks because I like both these guys so much.
I know,
I
feel like we troll them too much.
Well, it's the shittiest matchup you could have made. Correct?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree, man. I don't. Middleweight.
Yeah, middleweight. My bad. So, does a loser of this fight get cut?
Well, it's kind of...
Probably not, right?
No, it's hard to say that because they're both, top 10 guys?
I guess.
So it's hard to...
I guess they're both top 10 guys.
I mean, hey, in all technicality... 9 and 11. So not technically top 10, but, what is Chris Weidman on a 1-fight win streak? I think that's
he beat Akhmedov.
After coming off 5 or 6 losses in a row. So it's I still don't know how this guy's top 10, top 11, but, It is what it is.
Absolutely. Let's move on to a real fight. Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute.
Now, this one I'm excited
It's actually a pretty good fight.
This is actually a really good
fight. It's a great matchup. Anthony Smith, is he going to get completely dominated again?
Well, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. It's very interesting here because we are at 2 pivotal moments in both of these fighter's career. Anthony Smith is taking on a top contender in Jimmy Crute. Maybe not a top contender as far as top 10 or anything
future
in that
contender,
aspect,
I would say.
But I would definitely say future contender. In unquestionably what Jimmy Crute has been able to do. He's 12-1 as a professional. He just recently got that first round finish. He has been looking extremely impressive as of late. But Anthony Smith, he's dealing with a bit of a skid here. He got dominated by Glover Teixeira, who is now fighting for the light heavyweight belt.
And then he lost to Rakic.
And then he lost to Rakic. So it's been a tough go for Anthony Smith. And I do believe, if he can get a win against Jimmy Crute, he's right back in the mix. And I'm not saying top 5. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is he's back in the mix because Jimmy Crute is a real guy, a real up-and-comer in this division. I love this matchup. I think it's the perfect matchup to make for both Jimmy Crute and Anthony Smith because if Jimmy Crute can get a win over an established guy like Anthony Smith, who just fought for the belt 2-3 years ago, then I really think you're on a trajectory to actually get a top 10, top 7, 8 guy. I really love this fight for both these guys because it's really a pivotal moment in both of their careers.
Yeah, and if Anthony Smith wins, then he's back into the mix.
Yeah,
because he beat a future contender. Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting matchup. I don't know. I'm leaning Smith just because he is the underdog. And
I gotta say the odds are pretty wide.
Well, I mean, look at experience. Who's got way more octagon time?
Yeah. Well,
Anthony Smith. Who's the savvy vet?
50 fights.
Anthony Smith. I think Smith could get it done, and I'm going to go with him. I'm going to put 200 church coin on Smith. Is he going to take him down and try to dominate him on the ground, or is he going to try and strike with the Jimmy Crute, who's been very dangerous and has extremely powerful punches? Yep. He's probably going to try and strike with him. So who knows? If Anthony Smith gets caught, it could be an early night.
Could be.
Or he could completely outclass him. It's interesting in my opinion, and I'm actually very excited for this fight.
Yeah, for me, I am literally betting pretty much all of my church coin minus 71 church coin. I have unbelievable amount of faith here in Jimmy Crute. I think Jimmy Crute gets the job done. I think it's a second round TKO. What I've seen from this guy, I am just so impressed. I'm so excited for this kid's future. I think, honestly, he will be a contender in this division, and I'm talking top 7, 8 contender this year. I think this guy, we could be in the talks here in 2022, 2023 of him making a shot at the belt, okay? Mm-hmm. So for me, I like Jimmy Crute here, and I'm so confident that I am laying 1,800 church coin on Jimmy Crute for the win, second round TKO.
All righty. Let's move on to the prelim main event. heading into this pay-per-view. Alex Oliveira versus Randy Brown. Another great matchup, dude.
Yeah.
Another great matchup. If Randy Brown can get it done, he's getting a ranked matchup.
He has to at this point.
He is. Same with Alex Oliveira. Is Alex coming off a win streak or a fight streak? This is something that we should look up really quick because Alex Oliveira is a guy that fights everybody.
Well, he just got submitted by Shavkat Ramanov.
Yep.
But, he did win a few fights outside of that loss in 2020.
He beat Max Payne Griffin and Sabota.
Yep.
He's lost to Nicholas Dalby. He lost to Mike Perry.
Yeah, back in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a guy that you just can't ever count Cowboy out. This motherfucker just goes in and goes to war.
And Randy Brown's also coming off a loss too, but he's coming off a loss to Vicente Luque. So, hey, pretty understandable there. I think this is the best matchup to make for both these guys. And another one of those pivotal moments in both their careers.
Yeah. Yeah, because a win.
Next guy is getting a top 15.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited for this matchup. I'm going to go Randy Brown. I like Randy Brown.
Yep.
And I did put Oliveira down here, but honestly, there's something about Randy Brown. I think he's just too big. He's such a big guy for the division. He's probably going to take Alex Oliveira down and dominate him because people have found success when you could get this guy on the ground and stay on top. Yes, he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and he is a savage on the ground, but Randy Brown, I think, is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and a savage on the ground in his own right. So even if it stays on the feet, it's good. It's a very entertaining fight. Very excited for this fight. This is the type of fight they need to put in the prelim main event because it's the type of fight to get people hyped up once it's a great matchup. And then, shit, that was a great fight. Let's buy the pay-per-view.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going with Randy Brown. I'm going to stick with 200 church coin.
Nice. I'm also going Randy Brown, 200 church coin. I think he gets the job done. I think he's a more well-rounded fighter, and I think he's probably learned a lot after that Vicente Luque loss. So Randy Brown for the win. I'm going to go third round TKO.
All right.
Wait, but man, fuck, it's hard to finish Alex Oliveira.
Yeah,
it's hard. It might go decision. It might go decision.
And you can almost guarantee there's going to be blood. Oh, there's going to be blood everywhere. Every Oliveira fight. Everywhere. Just bleed, guy.
You've got it. Hell yeah, bro. There will be blood.
Shout outs. All right, guys, every week, my shout out goes to a YouTube commenter. So it's whether it's a clip that we post or it's a full numbered episode. Go and leave a comment. There's a really good chance it gets read out on the show. This week's comment goes to Maxi Kalo. The problem with the welterweight division is the problem with the welterweight division is Colby and Masvidal specifically. They should kick them out of the UFC. If you don't want to fight, just leave. Disagree with that. I don't think they should be kicked out of the UFC, but
that might be a little drastic.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. But I think you need to somehow find a way to force these guys' hand to make them fucking fight. Like, that was the fight to make. That fight, regardless of who won that fight, was getting a title shot. I don't care if Masvidal got 50-43'd by Usman. It wouldn't be nearly as egregious as the fight we're about to see.
Yeah.
If you beat a Colby, if you beat a number one contender, I don't think they should be kicked out, but I don't like that they patted cake and picked their matchups. I will say that. I agree with you there.
Okay. My shout out this week, and I don't get a shout out fighters very often who have actually fought this week. But hey, Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, getting the job done, my guy. I do love seeing you win. I want to continue to see you win. Shout out to Luis Pena this week, getting the job done. Split decision, though. I think you got him there. I think that judge was smoking a little dope before. But my shout outs to Luis Pena. Can't wait for your next fight, man. I'm a fan of you. Love to have you on the podcast. Just throwing that out there.
Hit us up.
So hit us up, man.
Alrighty, Mason.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it. Another one. Guys, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at The Church of MMA. If you aren't following us already, make sure you go and do it. We're posting funny memes, clips of the show every single day. Hit us up.
Be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, guys. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers on this channel. We love each and every one of you bad motherfuckers. This is The Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen. And until next time,
peace.